Celebrating 70 years of coverage you can count on. This is KCBD News Channel 11's Daybreak Today.
Now at 6, one person is in the hospital with serious injuries after a crash southeast of Lubbock. Plus, cities at the U.S.-Mexico border scramble to shelter thousands of migrants after a surge in crossings. And the deadline for a government shutdown is looming. The latest on efforts to keep the government funded is just ahead. Good morning. Welcome to Daybreak. We're so glad you're here on Daybreak Today. I'm Angie Wynn. Steve Devine is joining us now this Monday morning. We're getting you started. And what can folks expect? Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. More of the same, if you will. That is quiet weather to start with. We have an overcast sky showing up on the tower cam here at 98th and University. Here's 98th, eastbound, by the way, off to the right-hand side of your screen. Now, I'm not expecting any shower activity with that overcast. Temperatures right now are, well, mid-50s to the low 70s overall, from Clovis at 56 to Snyder at 72. A little closer in on the viewing area. Lubbock Airport right now is 66, Levelland 64, Plainview is 61, Childress at 63, Lamesa at 70, some of those current temperatures that we have. Now, it won't be as hot as this weekend, but it gets really warm this afternoon. Temperatures will be in the 80s. Winds will be on the light side, generally right around 10 miles per hour, give or take from time to time. And there will be a lot of sunshine coming up for us this afternoon with just a little bit of cloud cover. So no rain in my forecast for us today. Now, in the next couple of days, Angie, we're still looking at some 90s in the forecast. More on that just ahead.
Thank you so much. We'll check in shortly. But first, we're looking to Washington, where the deadline for a government shutdown is just days away. Federal departments and agencies have started the process of bringing a halt to non-essential functions. John Lawrence reports.
Congress has until Saturday to make a deal to keep the government funded, but members from both parties aren't feeling optimistic.
If we have a government shutdown, which I'm sad to say at this point looks likely, it will be because there are a couple dozen Republican members at least who want a government shutdown.
GOP Rep. Tim Burchett of Tennessee is among those holding his ground.
The American public knows what we're up to, and they're sick and tired of it. That's why folks like me, we're sticking to our guns, and all of a sudden we're the bad guys because we want to balance our budget.
Should the shutdown occur, nearly 4 million federal employees will be affected immediately, including the non-essential workers being furloughed until the shutdown is over. It would also have a snowball effect across the U.S., including the Bureau of Labor Statistics not releasing financial data, which would make it hard for the Federal Reserve and investors to figure out the economy. And the White House says travel will be affected as well by air traffic controllers and TSA workers not getting paid to work. While there are discussions about how to keep things running,
let's pass a 30 to 60-day continuing resolution. Let's make sure it's not loaded up.
It appears to be an uphill battle.
You can't keep spending $7 trillion when you're only taking in $5 trillion. That just doesn't work.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Now to regional news. We are looking out of Clovis, New Mexico this morning, where police are asking for the public's help in finding who shot and killed a teenager over the weekend. Now, officers were called to the shooting in the 2100 block of West Grand Avenue around 11 Saturday night. They found 18-year-old Isaiah Montano with 2 gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. Anyone with information is asked to call the Clovis Police Department. You can remain anonymous. Meanwhile, the investigation continues this morning into a deadly shooting in Wolfforth. Lubbock County Sheriff's deputies were called to the 9200 block of Barton Avenue early Saturday morning. They found 3 gunshot victims there. They were Cynthia Green, Lewis Green, and Bryce Green. Now, deputies tell us the shooting suspect, Michael Green, fled into an RV on scene where he later shot himself. He died at the scene. Cynthia Green was taken to UMC with serious injuries where she later died. Lewis Green has been released from the hospital, while the condition of Bryce Green, the 3rd victim, is unknown at this time. One person is in the hospital after a crash southeast of Lubbock that happened Sunday afternoon. And Lubbock County Sheriff's deputies responded to this wreck near East Highway 84 and County Road 2950. Deputies say 2 cars were involved in the crash and 1 person was taken to UMC with unknown injuries. There's no word yet on what led up to that crash. In central Lubbock, another person was hospitalized after a weekend crash. Lubbock police were called to this area. It was in the near Marcia Sharp Freeway and University Avenue, and it was just after 10 Saturday night. Officers say a pedestrian was hit by a car. They were taken to UMC sea with serious injuries. No other information has been released at this time, but we will continue to update you on these stories on air and online at kcbd.com. And looking across the state, the International Railway Bridge in Eagle Pass has reopened. The bridge was temporarily closed Wednesday after personnel was spread around different areas. They were assisting Border Patrol agents taking migrants into custody. This comes after migrant crossings surged at the U.S.-Mexico border just last week. The Department of Homeland Security says at one point crossings at the border surpassed 8,600 over a 24-hour period. And in response to the surge in border crossings, the city of El Paso has opened up an overflow shelter to house migrants. However, the facility can only hold about 400 people. A number Mayor Oscar Leeser says is just not enough, mainly since the city already has around 6,500 migrants in custody, and they are receiving more than 2,000 each and every day.
So these numbers are continuing to grow, and that's so we talk about we will have to continue to look at emergency sheltering and look at working with partners in other cities.
At least 5 buses carrying migrants left the city Saturday. They are heading to New York, Chicago, and Denver. Making national headlines now, the United Auto Workers strike has grown over the weekend as workers continue to stand against General Motors and Stellantis. Now, the union expanded the strike to 38 parts distribution centers across 20 states this weekend. The expansion did not include Ford because the company has met some of the union's demands during negotiations, and this adds roughly 5,600 auto workers to the picket line just days after thousands of workers initially went on strike. The union is demanding better pay, retirement benefits, and a list of other things as well. Now then, at 6:02, time to check in on your forecast. Steve Devine is standing by at the First Alert Forecast Center. Hi, Steve.
Good morning, and this morning pretty quiet conditions overall. It did get hot yesterday, though. 93 degrees was the high temperature here in Lubbock yesterday. That was 10 degrees above the average for the time of year, 4 degrees shy of the record, which was set back in 1953. And for the year so far, at 12.83 inches of rain, we're a good inch and 3/4 or so behind the average through this point in the year. Now, the overcast that you see here on the tower cam, not expecting any precipitation from that. 66 degrees right now, mostly cloudy at the airport, a light northeast wind, and that northeast wind will result in today being not as hot as our weekend was here locally. But still, it's going to get really warm, 89 degrees here in the Lubbock area. Temperatures overall will range from the mid-80s to near 90 degrees here. Winds 10 miles per hour, a little less, a little bit more. And again, as that cloud cover this morning dissipates, moves out of the area, we're looking at a mostly sunny afternoon. And then tonight, generally fair skies with a light wind. Overnight lows from the mid-50s to the mid-60s. So we're looking at a lot of the area from Lubbock south and east. Again, low temperatures in the 60s, Lubbock down to about 61 degrees. So the overall forecast coming up for us, slight dip in the temperature today with a high of 89, still really warm, near 90 tomorrow, 92 on Wednesday, Thursday 93, Friday 92. Now currently for the weekend, it does look like our highs will be right around the upper 80s, perhaps near 90 degrees, so still going to be a very warm weekend. Some very slight chance of seeing some showers in the air. And again, as I've mentioned earlier, hopefully we'll be able to up those chances as we go through the next few days. Keep an eye on the new data that's coming in. Angie, we get new data into the forecast center constantly, all day long, every day.
I know. I don't know how you guys keep up. Thanks so much, Steve. Still to come on Daybreak today, a newborn baby is alive and well, all thanks to a baby box. We'll explain. Plus, NBC's new fall TV season starts tonight. A preview of season 24 of The Voice and a new crime drama. That's what's ahead. Stay with us. You're watching Daybreak today on KCBD News Channel 11.